So look, let me start off with Lewis Hall. Lewis Hall news is true. The Newcastle journalist said it on YouTube. I don't think it is true. I don't think it is true, but let me just give you the summaries. So Alex Crook on TalkSport says that it's more likely now. Obviously, Ben Jacobs has said that United retain interest. I think The Athletic have said that Man United would be interested, but it depends on the fee. Sky have said that Man United have had exploratory talks. To me, I just want to say, first and foremost, right, if Man United sign Lewis Hall, I will do a video running around my garden with my top off, if you want me to. I would love this deal. I think Lewis Hall is what Luke Shaw was when he was Roberto Carlos. I actually think his energy, getting back and forward, I think he is potentially England's best left back. I think it's a travesty that he didn't go to the World Cup. The fact that Jed Spence did well at left back was very good for England, but the fact that Jed Spence was England's starting left back while he was sat back at home is because of Eddie Howe. So I would love Lewis Hall at Manchester United, absolutely. So if I had any inkling that we were about to do this deal, I would be like, this is great. And if United do end up doing it, this is great. But look, my stance is very, very clear. And from the people I've spoken to today, we're not in for Lewis Hall. And people can dance around it for a bit of content and they can, pretend this, that and the other. But we are not in talks for Lewis Hall. And much the same as Mateus Fernandes or Elliot Anderson or Tonali or Tchouameni, you can admire and explore. But if when you get there, you might have £2 in your pocket. You can go and explore Selfridges. You can go and explore Harrods. You can go and explore the Lamborghini dealership. But with £2 in your pocket, when you get asked whether you can afford it, you're going to embarrass yourself. So Man United can explore they can be bloody Dora the Explorer for all I bloody care. They ain't got the money to do this deal, and that's going to be that's what nobody will tell you. Is Man United are interested? Man United want to explore a deal, but just explain that one to me. And we're not in talks with Newcastle anyway. That's a fact. But even to the people who think that we're interested or it's more likely, how is it more likely that we sign Lewis Hall because Eddie Howe's left? Does Eddie Howe leaving mean that Newcastle need to sell Lewis Hall? Does Eddie Howe leaving mean that Newcastle need to sell him cheap? I don't think it changes a thing. In fact, his issue was with Eddie Howe because he wasn't picking him. So I don't think that this makes it easier. I don't think we can afford it. I don't think Newcastle want to sell. And also, the $1 million question is, if Man United is so interested in Lewis Hall, why have we sat back and let Tonali go to Spurs, Anthony Gordon go to Barcelona, and Bruno Guimaraes go to Arsenal before we try and buy a Newcastle player? I mean, we don't like overpaying, but we wait until they've sold £200 million worth of players and they don't need to sell anybody anymore and expect a cheap deal. Maybe Lewis Hall will put a transfer request in. Maybe Lewis Hall will look to leave Newcastle. But when is he going to be within our price range? And why would they sell him to us on the cheap? So for me, I don't see this. And you know what I think as well? Honestly, I think we have people in our fan base who will basically lick a turd and say it's chocolate. I really do. And I think they damage this football club more than anybody else who calls it out. I just do not believe that we are here with 4 and a bit weeks left in a transfer window and we're still living a dream, talking about targets that the club aren't even talking to. So I don't think so.